right, welcome to the Dreamr Podcast. I have a very special guest today. This is Josh York of GYMGUYZ. From his parents' dining room to an international brand, GYMGUYZ founder and CEO is an American dream come true. I love that. 12 years ago, Josh was sitting in his parents' dining room table, hammering out the idea that would become GYMGUYZ, a mobile in-home fitness training provider, today boasting 251 locations across 30 states and 3 countries. Josh believes that sleep is the enemy and subscribes to 4 or 5 hours a night. We need to talk about this. And with a 4 a.m. morning workout followed by sauna and 29-degree ice bath daily. This man is not going to be denied his dream. We have Josh York on the podcast, man. Happy to have you, bro. Welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Chris. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome, man. So I'm a little bit familiar with you. I think I saw you on Gary Vee's podcast, but for anyone that might be listening to this that doesn't know who you are, man, I would love to just, hear a little bit about your story, let you give yourself a proper intro, because I'm sure you could do it better. And yeah, man, I just would love to know more.
Sure.
About GYMGUYZ, how you got started.
Sure. Absolutely. So my name is Josh York. I'm extremely handsome. No, I just like to throw that in there. But no, I started my business out of my parents' dining room in 2008 with a laptop and a vision. I like to call that vision our guarantee. In 15 to 20 years, we will be the largest fitness brand in the world. I like to say the chances of that not happening, you got a higher probability of seeing elephants fly. Been franchising now since 2014. And we are the largest personal training franchise in the world right now. We're in 3 countries, about to go into our 4th country, servicing over 260 locations, 700 cities in the United States alone. And we're really disrupting the fitness industry because we bring the workout to you, right? So we come in our fully loaded vehicle, stocked with everything you could possibly imagine, enough equipment to provide you an amazing workout 365 days a year, backed by our 3 C's, convenient, customized, and creative workouts. And, it's just great because, in our business, yes, it's a franchise model, but it's really great to make money, but it's really great to make a difference. And that's what we do every day.
Mm-hmm. I hear that, man. I hear that resonates with me very deep. So talk to me about franchising a business. What is that like? How do you, one of my major concerns, in doing something like that would be maintaining consistency in the brand, right? Making sure that all the other people you're letting use the GYMGUYZ name stand up to your vision and your quality. How do you go about making sure that happens?
Yep, that's a great question. Look, number one, before I even touch on that, when you talk about mindset, listen, everything comes down to one thing: 80% mindset, 20% tactical. If you don't have the right mindset, you're going to get eaten up and chewed up and spit out, and you're just never going to make it. Being in business is extremely dirty. It's a very dirty place to play, And at the end of the day, you're going to have lots of problems. So you better get your mind right. Now, as far as business and franchising, there's lots of things you can do, but the number one most important thing is setting up the right appropriate system so you can properly scale, and you can do things where you can manage and you have your checks and balances, because yes, you're going to have a lot of chaos, right? I love it. Like, I look at this as a game. Like, yeah. I really truly look at entrepreneurship like I'm playing Mario Brothers. I used to love to play Mario Brothers. I haven't touched a video game since I was probably 11, but I used to love Mario Brothers. And like in a video game, how you die, and sometimes you start at that certain point where you died, and sometimes you have to start from the beginning. But at the end of the day, the point is it's still the same. You get to live to see another day. And it's the same thing in business. The problem is most people quit when they're so close to the miracle. Now, when you set up the right systems and you have the appropriate things in place and the operations in place and you have the teams in place and you have the management in place and you have those technologies platforms in place to manage this, and you're testing net promoter scores and you're doing everything from a high level to see everything, you're still going to have some challenges, but it's very easy to monitor. You have to obviously, number one, bring in the right people, which is very important. And there's no such thing as perfection, so people are going to fail too, and that's just the name of the game. Even McDonald's has owners that fail, and you don't want that. But business is not easy. That's it. Business is not easy. And I always say, if you want to be an entrepreneur, most people call franchisees entrepreneurs, not entrepreneurs. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, whatever it is, you got to live a couple of years of your life like most people won't. So you can live the rest of your life like most people can't, and that's what it comes down to.
Agreed, man. And I think it's a beautiful thing that you're taking something where you've built success and given other people that opportunity to replicate that, giving them a system that's very much resonates with Dreamr. We're trying to give people a practical way to move forward on their dreams and create opportunities. Love that, man. So how long have you been working on this company?
13 years.
13 years. And would you say, wow, that's a long time, bro. You actually want to know what's crazy about that?
So I've been working on my business where, I was doing this myself from 2008 to 2014.
Okay.
Now I was very successful. Okay. Then I took a step back to start franchising, used every single profit I had. I'm not, listen, first of all, I'm not that guy to buy a Lamborghini. I'm never going to be that guy ever, but I don't do those kind of things. I drive my pickup truck every day and that's never going to change, but I saved all that money to reinvest. And then I started franchising. Now, from the outside, everyone's like, oh, wow, this guy's rolling in the dough. You don't understand something. As a business person, you'll understand this, but you start one business and then you use that money to invest in a totally another business. And I literally started from scratch again because I had to use all those funds to fund the franchise company. Because if you ask how to franchising, let me tell you something, it is extremely complicated. I made a ton of mistakes. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, but then I started all over again. So if you really look at it, I've only been doing this for 6 years. Because I had to start all over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that was going to be kind of my next question. And this is something that I think is important for anyone chasing a dream to know. I personally know this. I'm sure you've had your moments, but at a certain point in time, that point that you mentioned where everybody quits and right before the miracle, right? Tell me about a time, because I think a lot of this gets glossed over in most interviews. Tell me about a time where you really just, not that you weren't sure, but to someone looking from the outside, it looked like all this might start crumbling down. And then what happened to where it just shifted for you?
Okay, that's a great question. And this is how I'm going to position it. I'm a human being, just like you and just like everybody else. And my thoughts are the same as everybody else. And I have those thoughts all the time. The difference is, how do you get in your head to get that little negative self-talk voice out of your head? And what I do, and it's a true story, I do it all the time. I think about pizza and donuts and it makes me happy. And I kind of like just shift my focus. That's honestly what I do. I love my sweets. If you think I'm joking, I got these fresh baked.
It can be that simple, people.
I got these fresh baked cookies that someone just picked me up right here. I love my sweets. And at the end of the day, when you allow your mind to shift focus and not think about that moment, you have to be a believer in yourself. Okay. See, people don't understand this. If coming in as a franchise owner, there's so much on the advantage side, because you have a team behind you. Someone's cheering you on. When you're early in the game and you're trying to do something, especially what I did and what my team have done, what we've done here is we created a new category. So you have to be your best cheerleader, because no one's going to believe in you. I could tell you more stories of people that laughed in my face and told me this was never going to work and this and that, but I always believed in me. So I'm my greatest cheerleader. And that's why I always recommend you get a mirror and just put it in your room or somewhere you're going to walk past every day, and just stop and just stare in the mirror and look at yourself, because that's you're up against yourself. That's it. I don't pay attention to others people's, their journeys, what they're doing, and especially on social media. 96% of the crap is just nonsense and fake. People are painting these pictures for you that doesn't even exist. I guarantee you, if you look at their bank accounts, they have $0 in it probably. So focus on yourself. That's the key.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's entrepreneurship, creating anything is an internal game. And comparing yourself to others is one of the quickest ways to, feel inadequate or to, and the worst part about it is, like you said, you're comparing yourself to something that's not even real. To believe that person's Instagram profile alone, you got to make 95 assumptions, which are probably incorrect. Yep. So 100% resonate with that, man. And but just back to that question, was there a moment where, you know, maybe it was right before you started franchising where you transitioned that way, but I think you had a lot of success. Sound like you bet on yourself at that point in time. I love people that bet on themselves. That's something I really subscribe to. But was there a moment where you're like, this might all crumble like tomorrow? And then something
all the time. Yeah. Listen, all the time. You know, look, I struggled making payroll for almost 10 years, literally nonstop. Like, thank God, you know, I don't have to have those problems anymore. But I never react. I've trained my mind. So I believe, I don't care what anyone thinks. I believe I believe I'm the baddest person in the world. I believe my mindset, no one's going to get tougher than it. These are why I do certain things. I jump in my 29-degree ice bath every day, even in my 10-degree, you know, garage this morning, how cold it was here. It was like probably like 15, 20 degrees. I still jump in the damn thing. Lots of benefits to it from a fitness side, but from a mental side, I like to put myself in a lot of uncomfortable situations, because when a lot of these tough moments happen, it just makes it very easy for me. But I always, and I know this is going to sound really crazy, but it's the truth, I just tell myself, it's all good. You know, it's going to work out.
Yo, yo, you're dropping some truth bombs, man. I love this because mindset is something I've focused on myself like the last decade. A lot of the psychology that you're talking about, we've used to kind of develop this product, Dreamr. It's a reason that, you know, I love my partner, Charlie Rocket. Very, very similar mindset. We're just forward focused. It's all good. And one thing that you're really reminding me of is the concept of, you know, things have the meaning that we give it. And so you have the power with your perspective to give anything that could normally look negative, it could look bleak. You can give it the meaning that it's all good, or, you know what, that's perfect. You know what, there's a blessing on the other side of that. And all I got to do is just look for the blessing instead of focus on the problem. And that's been something that I have to credit for, you know, just the fact that I'm sitting here right now and we've got, you know, a product in the market that's gaining a lot of traction. That one simple principle right there is like, no matter what anyone else says, you can tune out that noise, and it only matters what you think, how you feel about a situation. And, you know, it's interesting, but once you try that, once you start putting that into practice, you'll see that on the other side of that, it actually happens. You know, things do work out.
It's hard. It's hard though, because when, you know, I'm talking, like I'm telling myself these things, like there were times where I had like a bill for like $175,000 due like the next day. And I had like $1,000 in my bank account. Like, this is true. Like, I'm telling you real stories. Like, most people can't, most people can't handle that. Most people can't handle that. So let me just circle back to what I said. I tell myself these things, but I take action to figure out how I'm going to get the job done. You have to take action. Right. If you don't take action, you're not going to get the job done, because all this stuff is very easy to say, not so easy to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so this is where we can go another layer deeper, right? So the action that you took to solve that problem, whatever problem is, and insert any problem in there, I would argue that the action that you took was the helpful action, the right action, because of how you were thinking about the situation. If you're thinking about that $175,000 that's due the next day, and the mindset is only like, I'm not going to be able to pay that, I'm done, you know, yada, like, you're not going to find the right action to take. But it's because you're like, hey, I'll figure this out. It's all good. It's been all good the past 1,000 problems, and it's going to be all good this problem, and we're going to figure it out. That is like the soil for the right action. It's the environment for you to take the action that's actually going to do something. Very versus, and this is where this, like, that mindset being 80% of it, you know, this is real stuff too. This is things that will actually help people go after their dreams and face problems, because it's inevitable. Like you said, you're gonna run into shit in this game. That's just the nature of the game. But I think it's also through these type of mental practices that you learn to love the game for what it is versus what you want it to be. So okay, let's get into mindset a little bit more. Let's go with 2 practices. What 2 mindset practices would you give someone just starting out, let's say in your field? You know, they want to open a gym. They want to become the best personal trainer in the world. You know, what's your advice for them? Mindset. Strictly, yeah.
Start doing some very uncomfortable things. Like, I mean, very uncomfortable things. Like, I literally when I tell you I put myself in uncomfortable situations, like very uncomfortable situations. And most of the time, like 90% of the time, it's physical, and I do it through training. But I mean, like, I do some crazy stuff, man. Like, I literally, like, the average person would probably need a defibrillator and would probably have to go to the ICU unit if they even tried to even play with me, because it would never work, because I just pushed myself to the point where I've lost hearing in my ears for like a half hour. I'll see, like, you know, those spots you see when you're working out. Like, I've taken it to such an extreme level sometimes where I literally can't stand up. I'd have to like lay down with my legs up for more blood to circulate to my head just to get back up to it. Like, I push myself. If you want to go to the end, to the finish line, because I go for the gold. That's it. I don't settle for silver. Most people say, you know what? Silver's good. I don't need the gold. No, I only go for the gold. So like, I'll give you an example of a game I play. So in the sauna, I play this game with myself. I've been doing this since I'm 17.
Okay.
I don't even know how it happened, but I just do it. Like, when I'm in a sauna, I'll stay in there for usually 30 minutes, a couple days a week. I have to be the last person to leave the sauna. So if I have a minute left, and sometimes it could be over 200 degrees in there, man, and you try sitting in there, I will not drink water in there. I will sit in there for 30 minutes without taking a sip of water. Now, you have a minute to go, and you might be getting a little nauseous and dizzy, and someone walks in, I can't leave. Like, as soon as that person walks in, I cannot leave. So, like, there was a time where it was so hot in there, and for some reason that day I couldn't handle it. This guy came in, and I'm like, holy smokes. I was like, what the hell am I going to do right now? I was like, sir, how long are you going to be in here for? He's like, probably 15, 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I'm trying to prepare my head to stay in there for 15, 20 minutes. Now, that's a very uncomfortable situation. Yeah. And he did stay in there for 15 minutes, and I would not leave until he left. And I do things like this all the time, where I like create these alter egos in my mind and kind of trick myself. You have to trick your mind. And I can't explain it really. Like, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but like, you have to believe certain things, like actually truly believe them. Like, not say like, I can fly, and you think you could fly. Like, you have to actually believe it in your mind. And when you believe those things, like making the payroll or coming up with the money, you play the game and you win the game. But you have to put yourself in it. So what is some advice I give someone? If they don't like running, start running every day a mile. If you don't like taking a cold showers are very good for you. I take them every day. I do my ice bath, then I let my body warm up, then I take a hot shower, then I go back into a cold shower. Do things that make you uncomfortable, because when you do those things, at the end of the day, you understand the pain's going to go away. But when you have tough times, it's a lot easier to manage, because mentally you can handle it. Like, people don't understand, it's like, if you're going to go work out, right? It's going to be painful, right? But as soon as someone experiences pain in life or in business, they just quit. Right. Because they're just weak. That's why you have to start doing things. And the reason, look, I wake up every morning at 3:44 in the morning, every single day, 3:44. Okay. Now, you think I want to wake up every day at 3:44? Don't you think some days I'm dead exhausted? No. I never, ever, ever once in my life have ever hit the snooze button, ever. Okay. Every time you hit that snooze button, you're killing your dreams, your goals. You're killing them. And I'm not saying that you have to wake up at that time every day to be successful. But I am saying that's really a tough time to wake up, right? You're comfortable, you're warm in your bed, it's early in the morning, the rest of the world pretty much is sleeping.
Especially the ice bath.
that is the time winners are made. Yeah, that is what I believe.
No, I love this. So, and what it really means that you're speaking to is discipline. Number one, a lot of people don't understand that discipline creates freedom. It's a very counterintuitive concept, but it's true. And I think that is something that you're living your life by, and then the other thing is that mental toughness that you're talking about. This is something that I think most people don't say when you're talking about, giving entrepreneurial advice. It's like, get the right team, make sure you get the product market fit. No, you're saying be mentally tough, because it's guaranteed you're going to go through some shit. And I love that, man. And so, things like being the last man standing in the sauna, right? Interestingly enough, I don't go in the sauna very often, but that is something that I do when I go in there. I'm just going to sit in here longer than anyone else. And I tell myself things like that all the time. Like, nobody works harder than me. Like I'll sleep 3 hours a night just for the fact that no one works harder than me, and I know I'm going to be successful because I'm putting in the hours. But, you could achieve that belief without maybe doing that, but it's putting those things into practice, like you're saying, that you show yourself. And that's one of the best
100%.
ways to really form that belief, is to show yourself that you are who you say you are. You are who you think you are. And man, that's huge. That's great advice. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so dream with me a little bit. I know you're found massive success. You're in so many cities and multiple countries now. What is that goal? Where is GYMGUYZ? I don't want to put a time on it, but where's that gold medal? Where are we going?
Very simple. Worldwide domination.
Worldwide domination.
That's it.
What does that mean? What does that mean for
that means that we will be the largest fitness brand in the world. That means that we're going to be able to change more lives than you could possibly imagine. And let me tell you why that's going to happen. We live in a world of convenience. Okay. That's the world we live in. If your business is not Amazon proof, you're going to die. Okay, Chris, I'm sure you've ordered off Amazon, if not in the last hour, the last 24 hours. Yeah. So, and if you're not a Prime member, I would literally fall on the floor right now. That's the world we live in.
Yeah.
Now you have the whole in-home fitness craze. You have Mara, Peloton, all those other companies. That's great. But here's the problem. People need accountability. That's never going anywhere. And Peloton's a great product, but a lot of people use that as a clothing rack. And there's no accountability there. And at the end of the day, human interaction is never going anywhere. Robots can't replace what we do. And when I say worldwide domination, we're going to be able to change more lives than you could possibly imagine. And we will be in more cities and countries than you could possibly imagine. And that's never going to stop. Because honestly, people are like, wow, this is great what you've done. This is great. I'm just getting started. I haven't even scratched the surface yet. Very simple.
There we go. You're a real dreamer, man. I love it. That's exactly how I feel. We're like 6 years in, just starting to get some traction, and I'm like, we've scratched the surface. You don't even understand the plans that are involved in this thing, and it's my mission in life to just make it more practical, give people a system like you're talking about to find success in whatever dream they have, whether that is to be an entrepreneur, is to be an artist, a musician. And we've identified a few things that, are necessary to kind of give that person an environment to thrive, right? And those three things are community, access to capital, and education. Is there anything you could speak to about those concepts, particularly community, I think, with you, that, having that is an ingredient for your success, whether that's in your business, whether that's, getting classes together. How does community play a role in your business? And just talk to me about that.
So community, look, it's extremely important. It's extremely important. And what do I think of that? When you say that to me, I think of, the folder, actually have turned into folders of letters I've gotten of thank yous of people we've helped in the community. We have government funded programs we're working with a lot of people with disabilities, whether it's autism or, any type of mental disorder. And you get a letter from a mother of a son who struggled and you helped him, and you can see a tear stain in the letter. Let me tell you something, there's nothing better than that. What does that mean to the community? Well, that means that they're going to share that story with other people in the community, and you could help other people in the community, but you have to be involved in the community. Something we always say here is OTC. OTC every single day. Own the community. Know everybody. Give back to everybody. These are all things that are very important in business. And I like to always tell everyone, business comes down to one thing. I don't care what business you're in. I don't care if you're selling screws, you're selling an app. I don't care what it is. It's relationships. Everything is about relationships. If you can't connect with people, if you can't build relationships, you're never going to win.
Facts, man. Facts. Wow. Amazing answer. And that's, so version 1 of Dreamr is really about that. Right now, I think we live in an environment where talking about your dreams out loud is really frowned upon. You know, people, especially people closest to you that maybe know your history, know that you're a slacker, procrastinate, whatever. Like when you tell them your dream is to go, you know, have the next successful gym franchise, they're going to look at you and be like, you know, but that's what we aim to create with Dreamr, was an environment where someone could say, hey, my dream is to go to the moon, or whatever crazy thing it is, and it's receptive, you know, it's received well, it's a positive, you know, feedback loop, and you start to form relationships around your dream. You know, we found that connections that we are facilitating on the platform are much deeper than typical online connections, for one reason only: people are saying why they're there, they're saying what their dream is, and they're connecting around that. Which is very similar to, you know, you're building community the right way, the organic way, and going out and talking to people and meeting people and talking to them about their health and their fitness. And so, man, to hear you say that just kind of helps me just, you know, further just one notch up the belief in what we're doing, that, you know, building community is the foundation of chasing any dream. I believe that to be true.
Yeah. So, and one thing to add there, look, it's great to dream, but if you don't set a goal with that dream, your dreams aren't going to be anything. So you have to set goals, right? You have to set goals, and you have to believe in those goals and accomplish those goals so you can make those dreams come true. A lot of people like to dream with no action.
Right. And so, you know, I think just getting someone to say their dream out loud is like a baby step, right?
100%. Yep.
Because that sets things into motion. If you're not talking about your dream, there's really not much action you can take, because it's on the back burner. So it's just, you know, for us right now, it's about getting those dreams in the forefront, getting a engaging way to focus on it. And that's how, you know, we're just expanding our reach and impacting people, aside from all the philanthropic stuff we're doing with the Dream Machine Tour and Charlie Rocket. We're doing a bunch of stuff here in Vegas for the community this season. But having a medium to talk about your dreams and find support, I think it's just something that doesn't exist in society right now, and that's the void we're seeking to fill with this app, you know. And it's almost like a hack, you know. I feel like you would resonate with this. I'm sure like there's people that aren't ready to get in shape, they're not ready to go hit the gym, but you know that they want to be healthy. Yep. Right. It's like, it's how do you get that person to then just show up?
Yep. I
got you. That's kind of what we're aiming to achieve with the Dreamr app right now, is like, show up and say what your dream is and see what happens, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, look, I'm going to wrap this. I know you've got a hard stop soon, but bro, thank you so much for being here on the Dreamr Podcast. Thank you for sharing your mindset and your insights. I think a lot of people are going to get huge value out of that, man. And I agree so much with everything you said. So appreciate you being here, brother.
Yes, Chris, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good one. Crush it today.
You too. Take care.
Later.